So this is the thing. I'll just ask you, and you can ramble about it. I won't ask you any more about it. But this is something that people have been telling me to ask you about this before, because it was something a while ago, and I covered this. A lot of people were very upset about your coverage on Bolivia, and how you
Were they?
covered
I didn't know
Bolivia.
that.
Yeah, there was maybe one or two people who were upset about that. So I had a question. What do you think about the outrage? Do you think they had any fair critique? Do you think it was just an outrage mob? What do you think about that?
So on a bunch of these issues, like Venezuela, Bolivia, um, what other examples are even Argentina? I'm from Argentina. I don't know if you knew that, but just as a sort of mention, to mention, I was born in Argentina,
Okay.
and came to the U.S. I am very critical of what I consider faux left populists. I've been around the block too long on Latin American politics to be kind of entranced by these figures that many American leftists sort of fall in love with as the poverty solvers and the democracy bringers and this type of thing. And unfortunately, you know how before I was saying on Afghanistan, it's almost like you can't both be for the withdrawal, but not a Taliban lover. Like people say, well, if you're for the withdrawal, you must love the Taliban, or otherwise you would say we have to stay in. Similarly, there's a lot of the same thing happening with me on Latin America, where because I pointed out some of the limitations of, the Chavez Maduro regime and its authoritarian nature, people started accusing me of supporting American CIA selection of Guaido. And I made it very clear. I don't want the U.S. involved. I'm from Latin America, and I understand the long, disastrous history of American involvement in all I'm saying is I'm an anti-authoritarian, and Chavez Maduro, they control the media, they control the courts. So I have to be against that as an anti-authoritarian progressive, but I don't want the U.S. involved, and I'm not in favor of Guaido. Similar in Bolivia, I made very clear, even in the first segment, which was the source of a lot of the criticism, hey guys, what was the woman's name? Jean Anya. I don't even remember.
Anna's just
Yeah.
Anna's. Yeah,
I said this seems to be a right wing nut, and it's quite plausible
she's a
that
far right kook. Yeah.
yeah, that she's going to take over, but that doesn't mean, and I don't want the U.S. involved, but that doesn't mean that I have to love everything that's been going on in Bolivia. So basically, my basic view of this now would be, I know that people, whenever I appear on any show, love to talk about this like it's number one, the foremost thing on my mind. I don't think I've even mentioned it for 2 years at this point. It doesn't really bother me. It's fine for people to have to either say I'm either good or bad on that issue. I think it's overly simplistic, but it's not surprising given that kind of black white knee jerk tendency that I see among many on left and right.
Okay. Uh, so I just one clarifying question. What do you think of Evo Morales?
I think that he is a slightly less, how do I want to say it? I think he is more genuine in his package of ideas than someone like Chavez or Maduro. So I don't see him as the same type of authoritarian as like Chavez Maduro. But I think that he fell quite short of what I would see as a kind of ideal of social democracy rather than this kind of populist rhetoric that in Latin America often falls so woefully short. I think that's the way I would kind of summarize it.